Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Welcome to our live video series. Today, we are going to take our very first look at the 2023 Kia Sportage. So if you've never joined us before, we do these videos live. Normally I do it every weekday. This past week I had to take some time off, and sometimes you just can't tell the internet where you've gone or what you've done. So don't worry, everything's good. But I am back here on a Saturday, which I don't usually do, and we're going to go through these vehicles in detail. So here's how this works. These are actually live, and if you're tuned in with us, you can ask me questions, and I'll go do my best to answer as many as I can. But if you're not tuned in live and you just want to skip to the content of this video, you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark, and that's where we'll get going with the actual content. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how to join us live. We are going to talk about a couple little things about this car, and then we're going to jump into full content at the 3-minute mark. One quick thing. If you're American and you hear me saying Sportage, I'm actually saying it correctly. We film here in Canada. This is how they say it here. I'm just saying it the way they do, and there's other parts of the world that say it like that as well. And every time I do a Sportage video, I have a whole bunch of Americans that are very upset with me for saying it wrong, and I promise you, I'm not saying it wrong. I'm saying it right in Canada. Obviously, when I was in LA, we looked at the Sportage, which was at the LA Auto Show, but this is the Sportage. That's what it's called. All right, really quickly, let's jump in here. We're going to show you how to join us. If you want to join us live and you're not live with us, go to our YouTube page, usually on a weekday at 2 o'clock. This is a special edition Saturday one. I came in just for you guys for this. So we're going to refresh this page at exactly 2 o'clock on a weekday. Normally, it would be a weekday. And you'll see that the live video actually takes the main spot on our page there. Click into that. You're all going to watch the ad, right? I'm going to skip the ad right now. I'm going to skip it real quick, but you guys are all going to watch it. Oh, there's 2 ads. I can't skip it. Anyways, real quickly, there are 3 dealers that support this channel: Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, and Owen Sound Hyundai. If you are looking to buy a car in Ontario, connect with me after this video. There will be a link in the description at the end of this video, and I will connect you to our sales team, and they will help you out. And we are busy right now because you guys are actually buying because we're doing these videos. So yeah, keep it up, and we'll do our best to earn your business. So at least give us a chance if you're in Ontario. All right, do me a favor, guys. We're going to try to, because I'm not usually here on Saturday, we're going to do a little experiment. Everybody hit the like button together in 5 seconds, because that'll make a whole bunch of people join this video in a couple minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody hit the like button. Let's just see what happens. It's not going to hurt you. We'll see what happens. And then I'm going to try to earn your like throughout the rest of the video if you haven't hit like yet. I do see your comments coming through, so that's perfect. And we are going to get going in about 20 seconds here. Really quickly, some of you were asking me, reaching out to me over the past few days. I did have to take some time off. Like I said, everything's fine. Those of you that I didn't get to answer, if you have emailed me and I haven't got back to you yet, I'm going to do my best to get back to you this afternoon. I am going to work the rest of this afternoon to try to get back to you. So there is that for you. All right, 3 minutes in, here we go. This is 2023 Kia Sportage. Now, really quickly, if you're just tuning in for this, this is a Saturday. On Monday, I am going to do a full technology review of this top-of-the-line version here so that you can understand the technology in the car a little bit better. And when there are things that we all don't understand, then I know what to contact with head office and follow up to make sure that you have answers. And if you're interested in these vehicles in any way, we're going to have all kinds of videos on these. Short ones that tell you everything about it, longer ones like this one that sort of give overviews, but we're going to go to those short ones to go detail for detail, feature for feature. So make sure you hit subscribe, and we go from there. All right, real quick, we've got an LX all-wheel drive, and then we've got the top of the line, which is called the X-Line X-Line Limited. So X-Line Limited is different than the X-Line in Canada, so don't confuse them. Basically, this is top of the line with the entry-level model, except that the entry-level model here is an all-wheel drive version. So it's the same thing as the front-wheel drive version, except it's all-wheel drive. And if I'm incorrect in that, when we get a front-wheel drive one, we'll compare them side by side. But according to the spec sheet information we have, they are the same. And I do have to show you what the keys look like. So regular key for the LX model, the LX all-wheel drive model, is a jackknife style key, which means press the button, the key comes up, and that's the key. So these jackknife style keys are just a little bit thicker, finger to thumb thicker in that area, but there's what the buttons look like. And these ones do not have the remote start on the key fob. So no remote start here. I'm sure you could probably get an aftermarket remote start even through our dealer here. But just so you know, it does not come standard with remote start because it's a key start vehicle, and that sort of seems to be the way they do things. Now, if you move up to a push button start, this is the kind of key you're gonna get. And this is the top of the line trim. So you do have that remote start on the key fob, a slightly narrower key, finger to thumb there. And you have the horn button, the auto trunk button. So that is a electrically opening trunk, lock and unlock. This one I can keep in my pocket for the entire video. And the other one I'm going to have to pull out to start the car. So where we're going to start today is we're going to start in the LX model, kind of go through the basics there, and then we're going to jump over to the top line trim and go through the basics there. The differences, driver seat to driver seat. We're going to go rear seat. We're going to go trunk space, features in there. We're going to talk lighting and the basics like that. And like I said, if you want to know more, there will be a lot more to talk about. We will be talking about the technology in this car on Monday. So bookmark that kind of in your calendar, 2 o'clock Eastern time on a Monday, and we'll go through. Hey, look, there's Gabby. She's coming through. She was trying to sneak through, but I decided I'm going to catch her. All right, so starting in the inside here, we will take a look at the outside and the differences in the outside a little bit later in this video, but I want to start right here in the cabin. Opening the door, obviously, I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it, it is a larger vehicle than the previous Sportage. It's hard to say on camera, but it's noticeably larger. However, hopping inside, it still feels like a nice compact crossover. It's not, monstrously huge to drive, so you get that confidence of a small crossover, but you gain the benefit of larger rear seats, larger trunk space, and we're going to get to that in a second. Now, in here is interesting for this LX model. You can see we have a large display screen in front of us and a pretty large display screen over there. Now, obviously, you can see to make a base model, you've got to make some compromises. You can see this is made for a larger screen, so we're going to have that in the larger trim line. But again, you get some pretty cool things in here, and here's a surprise for me. They went with a digital tachometer. Now, I'm going to be honest. I am a purist, and I like my tachometer to be a dial because when I want to know when to shift, and this is my motorcycle background, as it revs up, I know where the needle is and I don't have to read the number. I don't think many people are going to care because it's an automatic and you don't have to really shift on your own, but you do have a digital tachometer on the right and a digital speedometer on the left. And I'm trying to get it, let's see if I can brighten it up just a little bit for you. There we go. We're going to turn it up a little brighter so we can see it a little better on camera. That's pretty good. So again, you're going to see some glare on the camera here. I'm going to be very honest with you. The camera has one eye and it always gives you more glare than two eyes would. And I don't see any real glare in person at all. And I think it's a pretty cool looking dash here. So of course, if I switch the drive modes, you can go for normal here, which is purple, red is sport, and the smart is also purple there. But you can change that up a little bit. You can set it to just one or the other. The other cool thing is we have terrain modes here. So we have snow, mud, and sand. You may not have that in the US. They have not had this in the past, but we do have it here. So snow, mud, and sand, drive mode there. Keep it in the normal for now. Actually, let's go to the smart mode for now. So of course, smart mode is your fuel efficiency mode. It is essentially your eco mode from the past. Of course, as you get into the throttle, it's going to sense what you're doing, and it may move it automatically to the normal mode or even the sport mode. So lots of stuff there. We talked about the all-wheel drive system on the Sportage and other vehicles. Sorento and other vehicles we'll talk about in the future. You'll notice there's a little speed limit sign down here. Now, speed limit assist has made it into the Sportage. We've talked about this in another video, and I'm going to carry it out more in the future video. But the car knows speed limits in part by a navigation system if it has navigation, but also through a camera system. So again, it has cameras in front of the car. Those are going to help with self-steering. We'll talk about that in a second. But one of the things they're now using that camera for is to read speed limit signs. So if it sees a speed limit sign and it knows that what the speed limit is, it's going to display it down there, which is just a nice little feature because if they switch the speed limit on your road to this, then you also get the speed limits listed there. So kind of a cool dash for a base level car. And I want to point out, these are massive screens. Like this is a big screen. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we go to the next vehicle there. So in there, big screen, lots of features in here. Ignore fuel efficiency numbers, guys, because this car has been idling a bunch for us as we figure out a bunch of things. Dealership cars are not fair like that. A nice little thing with an auto stop. If the auto stop conditions aren't met when it's idling, so this is when the car can turn itself off at stoplights. If that conditions aren't met, it will tell you, oh, maybe not. Hold on, auto stop. No, that's totally different. So anyways, we'll do that as totally separate video. All right, so yeah, the auto stop right there. So if this conditions aren't met for that auto stop where the car turns itself off at stoplights, it'll just tell you conditions not met. So you'll know why your car isn't turning off to save fuel in instance. So fuel gauge there, temperature gauge there, new dash, that's pretty big. How much is it? That's a really good question. I've got all the pricing over there. Basically, this is right around the $30,000 mark with the all-wheel drive, about $2,000 less with the front-wheel drive. So in the price range of a Seltos for this trim, the upper-end Seltos, obviously there's a lot more space here. And then, of course, as you move up to the top-line trim, you're getting into the price line of a Sorento. So kind of bridges that gap quite nicely price-wise. I'll show you the exact pricing. I haven't got them exactly memorized. I have been away for a couple days, so forgive me for that. All right, jumping in here, you've got your standard radio here, AM, FM. Let's turn it down for a second. And again, this is sort of the typical 8-inch screen. We know what this is. You get the HD radio, AM, FM. It works really fine, right? There's nothing too fancy, too crazy about this. Very easy to use. You've got a quiet mode, which means you can mute the rear speakers here. And hey, one of our regulars is here. I met a regular yesterday. Anyways, you've got a quiet mode there that can mute the rear speakers and keep the volume going in the front. You can leave yourself voice memos, although you're probably not going to use that. You're going to do it for your phone, from the phone most of the time. As you go to the setup, kind of basic stuff in here, not a whole lot different. The next car, obviously, with more stuff in the system is going to be more, but this one does have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. The larger screens do not. I don't know why. I don't have a good reason why. I think I know why, but it doesn't really matter. The 8-inch screen has it, the larger screens do not. As you come down here, none of the marking material is going to show you this, because the other marketing material is going to show you what we have in the high-end version. But if you get the lower trims, very easy to use. Push buttons to direct the air where you want, push buttons for air conditioning, rear defrost, which also turns on your mirrors defrosting. And then you also have the front defrost and air conditioning over there, like temperature over there, fan over here. Pretty simple stuff. Down here, 2 USB ports and a USB-C, a regular USB-C, a regular USB, and a 12-volt port right there. So that's nice to see USB-Cs working their way into our mainstream cars. Anybody recognize where this gear shift is from? If you said the K5, you'd be correct, but before that, it was from the 4-cylinder Kia Stinger, which was only around for 1 year in Canada. That's a part spin shifter is what we call that, but that's perfectly fine. It's the same thing in every car, and it works fine. Here's your drive and terrain modes. Remember, drive modes you can switch like this. Just go along. You can just switch them all the way through. Terrain modes, you switch to this side and then go way through, and you have to watch your dash to see what you're doing. So in our other vehicles with drive and terrain modes, you see it down here. It's listed in lights around here, as well as in the dash. In this one, it's only listed in the dash. So just something to keep an eye on there. Again, being a base level car, there's going to be buttons that don't have everything going on here. Does it fart? You know what? Normally I ignore silly comments. Only Teslas fart. Not this car. Moving on. All right. So we got somebody that's spamming the comments because he thinks he's cool. You're not cool. All right, keep going here. Heated seats in the plastic or in the cloth seats, of course, they warm up very quickly. Higher trims, you're going to notice that there'll be a heated steering wheel here and ventilated seats here. So again, lower trim lines, you're going to have some buttons that don't do, or some blank button space, and that's okay. Down here, this is what we used to see in the Kia Niro only. They're now moving it through. EV6 has got something like this. I believe EV6 does, and definitely Sportage does. And if you tap these buttons here, it's kind of magic. It happens so quick on camera, you barely see it come out. There we go. So these slide out and you make cup holders. What they did show in some of the promotional materials is you can put an iPad through here. And the idea is that not everybody has a cup all the time. I don't drink coffee, so I very rarely have cups in my car. If I need to put a cup holder, I've got one. If I need to put other stuff, I've got a nice big space in there. And it's kind of hard to see there, but yeah, so there we go, is that. All right, looking around the dash in general here, you've got a textured plastic. It looks metallic, but it is a plastic textured area here. That's going to be different in the higher trims. Cool little vents here. There's some asymmetry here. So you've got this little vent, kind of Sorrento-like, and that vent over there, but you don't have the matching vent over here. Your driver's side vents are kind of more over here. Passenger side vents are more over there. So just kind of an interesting way of doing things. Somebody said they really like the door handles on this, so we'll show you that there. A little bit of like K5 kind of you know, inspiration there on this, that little design detail up there. And overall, the top door trim, it is harder plastic. It'll be softer plastic in the higher trims. So again, depending on the trim you're jumping into, harder and softer plastic, different things. This one, of course, has no sunroof. Headroom is great for the driver's seat. Even the headrests are going to be different in the driver's seat, and we'll show you that in a little bit. So somebody says, Peter's back. Hey, Mikey, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I had to take some time away. All right, remember when I talked about that camera in the front that steers this car? That's what this does. Lane follow assist and lane keeping assist is what this car has. So lane follow assist allows you to keep this car centered in the lane. And what I mean is it steers the car essentially for you. And now, we're not allowed to say it steers the car for you, but if it's steering the car and keeping it centered in the lane, kind of steers the car for you, you're still responsible for where your vehicle goes. So obviously keep your hands on the wheel. The system will tell you that. But the car really does kind of center itself and steer itself down the lane. And it uses that camera up there to do that, which is looking forward. And it also uses that for forward collision avoidance and a number of other things. Let's show you the backup camera before we go too far, just because we're going to switch to the other car now. Backup camera, just a standard backup camera. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I want to show you all the features. That's all it does here. So you've got that there. You've got this there. Those are your backup camera type features. Obviously, you can adjust the parking lines, display settings. You can do brightness and brightness at night, contrast, all those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, it's a backup camera. And the reason I showed you that is because the other trim is pretty cool stuff. All right, we're 15 minutes into this video. Got 128 people on. There's no reason we can't get to 150 likes today. So Let's see if we can do that. What is that screen size? That is an 8-inch screen that I just showed you. All right, Teddy's still in his chair. You bet he is. All right, so we had someone in earlier and Teddy was on the floor. I took a few days off and they just dropped Teddy on the floor, and that's just not right. If you're wondering why I'm talking about a teddy bear, stay tuned. If you've never seen this before, we got a lot coming with this teddy bear. All right, so let's just show you here. Somebody's asking me specifically, does the EX Premium come with a 19-inch or with the surround view monitor, a whole bunch of other stuff? I'm gonna be really blunt. I've been off for the past couple days. I got in late last night. I haven't memorized exactly which feature is in which trim yet. You're gonna have to give me till Monday on that. I am studying the individual specs right now, just so I can make sure I make sense of everything. Now we're gonna go to X-Line Limited. Again, remember there's an X-Line and an X-Line Limited. There are some styling differences here. You've got a flat roof rack up there, which we'll show you closer up in a minute, and a raised one here. We've got larger 19-inch wheels. So there's a number of differences in looks overall. But really what we're looking at is the top of the line version. This one happens to have dark black leather, and you have a power seat now with a lumbar adjustment. It is a memory seat. There is memory right over there. This looks wood trimmed to you on camera. It's almost silvery grayish, not silvery, but more gray in color. I'm terrible at describing colors. So although it looks like wood, the color is almost a metallic type color to me. It looks more brownish in camera. It looks more silver grayish-ish. Silver's not the right color. Grayish in person. So it is definitely a wood textured feeling, and it has some texture. It feels quite nice. This one has Harman Kardon sound system, of course. And remember when I said there's hard plastic in the other one? So this is a softer plastic here, rubberized, I don't know, rubberized, but it's a softer touch everything, right? So let's jump in. Obviously the seats, they look quite nice. Big thing is obviously the pattern, the stitching there, and the headrests are a lot like the EV6. We're gonna show you those when we jump in the back. They've got that little hook on the back. We'll explain that in a second. Big thing as well, panoramic roof still exists, and it is a big one in a bigger car here. So really nice panoramic roof there, and there we go. All right, somebody says EV6 wins hands down. Sure, if you want an EV6, if that's the kind of car you're looking for. If you don't want an EV6, this is a pretty good car too. What you get here is, speaking of EV6, the same dash. Now, here's the thing that doesn't show up on camera. Usually we show in something like the Telluride a 10.25-inch screen. The top line Kia Carnival is the only real comparison to this. It has a 12.3-inch screen over here and a 12.3-inch screen over here. And the visual impressiveness of this all is excellent. So a lot of same features in here. You've got the speed limit assist. So now that speed limit assist, instead of just reading cameras, it's also going to use your navigation data to show you your speed limit and the camera. So if the camera sees something that's different than the navigation, it will override it and show you your speed limit up there. There's a lot to show you in these screens, and that's why we're going to do a proper technology overview of this car. One little cool thing that I will show you though is, let's just have some fun for just a second here. We're going to go to the setup here, and we're going to go to the vehicle over here, and we're going to choose the cluster. And right now the cluster theme is set to whatever it is, and it can be linked to the drive mode. We're going to unlink it for a second, and there's A, B, and C. So let me just show you what A is. There's A, there's B, which is the sport mode. There's C, which is right there. And in this one, unlike the last car where it has 3 different colors, this one has 3 different things, and then there's a 4th option called dynamic, and this one's pretty cool if you've never seen it. A lot of the some of the top line Sorrentos can do this. The Carnival can do this, and then you have this. So it sort of shows you your weather outside. It can show you the sun setting. It's pretty cool. It changes with time, and I think on a long drive that would be pretty cool. So somebody says, like this dash much better. Yeah, it's impressive. The pixels are very good. The crispness of the display, everything about this dash is excellent. I drive a Hyundai Santa Cruz, and the Santa Cruz has a similar idea, right? It's got a digital display screen here and a digital one over there. The Santa Cruz has a 10.25-inch display, which is what the Tucson would have, and a 10.25-inch display here. Let me tell you, 12.3 inches over here and 12.3 inches over here is large. It's like over 2 feet of screen space. It's just a lot, and it looks fantastic. So like I said, overall, the technology in this car, we're going to have to go over in a separate video later. There's a lot to show you, and it's a lot of pretty cool stuff. One thing I did want to show you, though, is remember I said I was going to show you the backup camera? So there's a backup camera. Of course, it's a 360 camera here, and if I was to put it in drive, the reverse camera comes to a front side camera, and that's really helpful if you're backing up or going forward. Let's say I'm pulling up to that grate, and that grate was a curb. Well, I could line the front bumper up right with that curb without hitting it, which is kind of cool, but really my favorite thing to do is hit this button right here. Hey, there's what my car looks like, and that's an actual video. That is a digital car, but it's an actual video of what's around us, so we can go take a look at the, this one is white. It should match the car color, but you can sit there and show your friends, oh, let's go over there. See, there's the cord on the wall over there. and you can see the cord on the wall in front of the car. So it's just pretty cool. Let's take a look at what's behind the car right now. Oh yeah, there's Teddy Bear over there. Teddy Bear over in the corner. There's the chair over there. There's the sign over there. The yellow sign, which we can show you, is right over there beside me. So it's kind of a cool thing. I don't know that it's practical for actually maneuvering the car at all, but it's really cool to show your friends, and that makes it cool for me. So again, reverse and forward, you can have that. And there's a lot more to that display as well down there. Now, here's something that's going to be controversial for some of you, but I don't think it'll be as bad in person as it looks on video. And the first time I saw this was the LA Auto Show. I left the LA Auto Show going, I don't think I'm going to like that about it. I've come around to this, and I'll tell you why. This is duplicate buttons. Every one of these buttons essentially can be accessed on the screen, but if you want the buttons, you can touch that right there. Now, what's cool is you can have your tuning button right there, which almost none of us use anymore because it's all presets, and you have your volume button over here, which of course we all like. Now, when you tap this button here, this entire thing becomes a climate control system here. So if we're going to go to auto climate, we've got a dual zone climate control system here. It works very well. There's a lot of cool things, but my volume switch has now turned to a driver's side heat control, or all heat control, and then a passenger side's heating and control. So they switch. Now, what I don't like is, I want to keep the radio buttons up, so that's no problem. You just press this button here, and the radio buttons are there. And really, on a car with automatic climate control, 99% of the time, you should just leave it in automatic climate control. It's going to work better than you think you can adjust it. And if you need to adjust things around, like rear defrost, front defrost, those kind of things that are commonly used, you still have easy access. But it's just the full display that comes up right there. So it works quite well. I thought I wouldn't like it, but I think I do like it just like that. Leave it on the auto climate control. You'll know what the temperature is when you need it. And then if you need to switch it over, you tap it across. It looks pretty impressive in person, but it actually works better than I thought. Coming down here, still got that USB-C over here, USB 12-volt port, but now you add a wireless charge point right here. So wireless charge pad, drop your phone on there. You can see it's vented. That means it's a little bit faster charging than in the past. That push button start, it's right here, not up on the dash, which I kind of like. That's what I have in my Kia Soul. You start the car, you put it in gear, so hand there. It makes total sense, works well. You see you got those buttons filled out, heated seats in the front, rump roasters as I like to call them, so 3 levels of rump roasting. But if you want to go to, maybe my bum is so hot, you can just take that what you want. Now we need to cool it down, we can go with seat ventilation here as well. We should also point out the rear seats are heated in this car. We'll show you that when we get there, and this heated steering wheel over here as well. Coming down here, drive and terrain modes, a little bit more piano black trim. Now, a lot of you complain about piano black trim. Here's the thing I've realized. Keep a clean microfiber cloth underneath your armrest. Pull it out every now and then, and because there's no buttons in the way, you can wipe this entire thing down very easily with a microfiber cloth, and keep it look nice and clean, fingerprint free, and pretty cool. So same thing over here, only now we've got smart cruise control over here instead of just the regular cruise control. Same idea over here. You can customize some buttons up, automatic headlights. You've got automatic wipers as well on this car, so as it starts to rain, you can turn on the wipers. You also have the heated window grid, so I'm going to try to focus the camera on my hands. There we go. See right beside my fingers, that little squiggly lines? That is, in my mind, the best thing ever. That is a little grid in the windshield that melts the snow and ice. You can't really see it. I mean, you can see it in person if you look for it, but when you're looking through it, you don't really see it, but it melts that snow and ice. You never have to scrape the windshield in this car. It's amazing. All right, EV6, they did something controversial, which I'm trying to get you guys, trying to get worked out for you guys. They took out the buttons on the mirror that would allow you to open your garage doors. They keep it in here in the Sportage. I think what's going to happen is you're going to be able to get this as an accessory in the EV6, so we will advocate for you on that one. But good job, Kia Canada, for leaving it in this car. When you get to a higher trim car, you want garage door openers there, because the other ones are ugly, and we don't like ugly in our car. You spent a lot of time designing this car to make it pretty. Let's not put ugly in there. All right, another cool thing I like that they're doing in a lot of our cars, let's flip the camera around here, is these lights right here. These can be turned on with a switch. All the lights can be turned on, but you can also just tap them, and that should work. There we go. If you don't use your fingernail, if you tap with your finger there, they just come on, and that's pretty cool. It just feels really modern. They've done this in the higher trim Celtos, the Sorento, K5, Sportage. I did expect, or Celtos, that I did expect it in this car, and it did show up. Big panoramic roof, a little bit of headroom loss when you put in a sunroof, but no big deal. And overall, really good. So here's what we're going to do. I know I said I'd take your questions. I'm going to do that right now. We're going to go a little longer in this video than we normally do. We're going to go rear seat on both these cars because there's some differences you're going to want to see. Trunk space and lighting. That's what's next. And obviously, we're going to have a whole bunch more videos. So do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't already. We're going for at least 150. We're at 111 right now, and we'll try to catch up. Oops, I just started the car. We don't want to start the car indoors, so we'll keep talking there. All right, so let me go answer a few of your questions. I probably won't get to all of them, and if that person is still spamming me, hopefully he's done now, you're gonna get banned. So all right, let's see what we got. Okay. Been through my owner's manual 3 times. I can't imagine learning all this stuff about multiple cars each week. Yeah, so I'm really good at learning the owner's manual stuff. Honestly, I was talking to a regular that came in for service today. What I struggle with is remembering what is in each trim, because I don't have to worry about that in my job. Our sales guys have to worry about what's in each trim. So right now, today, if you ask me which car has a sunroof, I think it's just the top trim, but I don't know. So I'm doing my best, and be with me, guys. I was away for a few days where I wasn't doing what I normally do to keep stayed up here. Did I just see the heated windshield icon? Yeah, it does have heated windshield there. When do the hybrids come out? So I don't have an official answer for this unless it came out in the past 2-3 days when I was away. I do know that there's going to be a ride and drive as early as next week that I'm going to go to, and I will drive the hybrid there. So it's coming out very soon. If I missed a memo in the past couple days, again, it's Saturday. I don't work Saturdays, guys, so bear with me. I'll try to find out for you as well. Do I know how much the PHEV will be? Well, officially, the PHEV hasn't been introduced. The talk was they were going to introduce that maybe late summer, fall. Keep in mind, anything with a big battery has generally hit some major delays right now. So it's possible they won't introduce that when they had planned to, because they would have to introduce that in volume. Once you make a new vehicle available, you got to at least offer it to every dealer. So it's possible that PHEV will be delayed right now, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll keep you updated. That's what we're going to do here on the channel here. There we go. I wish they put this display on the 2022 Telluride. Yeah, so that's obviously going to make its way to the Telluride, but it's not there yet. What do we got here? Oh, we had a streaming issue. Tell my boss to stop streaming Netflix. Yeah, we can do that. Sorry about the picture quality, guys, if it was bad. There's a lot going on here, but hopefully it's better now. All right, let's go right through. We're going to answer more questions later. I want to go rear seat to rear seat. Let's start over here in the LX. Again, this is a base model vehicle with all-wheel drive. We're going to look at the outside in a second when we take a look at lighting. Let's just jump in, though. Overall, the big thing you're going to gain here, if you've seen a Sportage before, is space. This is just so much bigger, and you see it in the rear seat especially, and then in the trunk. So sitting in the driver's seat doesn't feel like a large SUV. It feels very comfortable. All right, so, oops, I meant to flip the camera around. Sorry about that, guys. So when I jump in here, it's good. Headroom is very good. It's, it's just comfortable. Now, the weird thing for me is the 60-40 split used to be the other way. I used to have the 40 side with me, the 60 side with me, and the 40, so they switched that. But you can see that seat beside me, very upright. This one here, very reclined. So even in the base model, you can recline, get tons of space. That's too far back, but let's just leave it there. Flipping down here, let's look at me. One thing I love, my legs are very flat on the seat. There's no camera trickery here, very comfortable here, and lots of leg room to move around. Knee room is tremendous, so very, very good. And guess what? Kia did one thing I really love. They put a pocket on this side and a pocket on this side. Now in this trim, they're not plastic back seats. They are cloth back. I like the plastic back because you can wipe them cleaner, but not a big deal. And then you've got big vents back here, which I think people prefer, and a space there. No ports on the base level trim. I don't know that that's the end of the world. Again, most people are buying this. If you have child seats in here, you got all kinds of space. It's no big deal. 2, 3, like whatever you need to put for child seats, you've got room. If you want to put in the center, you want to put on the outside, it's not going to be an issue. So that's the base model. Now let's look at the top trim. Top trim is very good, and they do things, in my mind, perfectly in this car. And I'll explain what it takes to have a perfect back seat. First of all, heated rear seats. They're very nice. It has them in the outboard seating positions, so that's good. Armrest with cup holders, we got that as well. Tilt seats, very comfortable. Reclining seats, excuse me, very good. Now, to get top scores, you need to have some USB ports in the seats, and they have USB-C port there, and on the driver's side as well, USB-C ports right there. Plastic back seats I just like because when my kids are in here, I can just wipe it clean, and that's good. You have a hook here, which is a bonus. Didn't need that, but we've got it. You've got a pocket here and a pocket on the passenger side. So everything I've shown you on the driver's side and passenger side is the same. The hook, the plastic back seats, the pocket, USB port. Legroom obviously is the same. You still got the vents in there. They're large. Still got a pocket down there. And a bonus, that is to hang up a little coat or something like that. So this is kind of a rubberized kind of feeling in there. I don't know if you can sort of see there's a little lip in there. That lip is kind of rubberized. And you could hang something up there and that lip actually covers it a little bit. So kind of a cool thing. And then to make it even better, check out above me. you've got a panoramic roof. That's just fantastic. It's great. So if you want the panel to be closed, you can have it closed. It doesn't even feel like a panoramic roof. Obviously, you can see headroom is immense. Even on the side here, like good room there, and obviously underneath there, tons of space. Everything is perfect back here for a smaller crossover, especially in the top trim. So very, very good there. Now, Harman Kardon speakers, I mentioned that as well. Back seat there as well. Okay, what we're gonna do now, powered tailgate here, non-powered tailgate there. So we're gonna pop the tailgate with this button right there. There's a lot of ways you can do this. We'll talk about that in the technology review. And then, of course, this one's a non-powered tailgate. We're gonna talk about some stuff on the outside here in a second. I wanna point out something there. Non-powered tailgate, no problem. Very, very good trunk space here. And how are we gonna tell? Well, remember we were talking about Teddy earlier. Teddy is going to show you here. Now remember, that seat can recline a lot more. That one's pretty square. If you have a square box in here, you can put it against the back, put it flat. Teddy's got a lot of room for the class. Like, it's a very wide opening. It's very kind of low floor there. The floor can actually be lowered by about 1 inch or so. Not a tremendous amount, but a little bit. Underneath here, you have what you're looking for. You want a spare tire, you have one. Like I said, you could lower the floor just from where it is to that little ledge right there as well. You can fold the seats down with the lever, which is good because you can't reach them because it's so far away. It's just very, very, very good. If you're a family or a small business and you just need some space for people and cargo, the Sportage is really all you need. Like, honestly, and I mean this sincerely, I can't see a great reason to buy the Sorento over this other than in the price range, like the low-end Sorento with the same engine, other than the third row of seats. It's this is very, very good. They do good things. There's a 12-volt port back here as well in the lower trim there, the center. So, same trunk space here. With my teddy bear, I could leave him there. 60-40 split, as like you saw. They moved to an LED light in the higher trim, which is a little different. 12-volt port is there as well, tie downs and all that kind of stuff. So all good stuff, same trunk, same space, just very, very good overall. A spare tire down there. You do have a speaker over here, so slightly different design with a speaker over here where there's no speaker over on that side. So that one seems to have a little bit of a cut out on that edge right there, whereas this one just comes flat. If you have a cargo cover, I don't see one in this car right now. I thought it came with one, but maybe it doesn't. If you get that as an accessory, it can be mounted underneath the floor in that area there. So when you have your seats folded and the cargo cover missing, you can do that. Once the seats fold, again, we'll do that in a separate video. It's just massive in here. Okay, so where we're going, usually we finish at a half-an-hour mark. We still have a couple things I want to cover. I want to just generally go over the exterior design, and we're going to start here on the back. If you've never seen these cars in person, you're going to see a very much an EV6 kind of feel to this. Now, the EV6 has a little spoiler there, kind of an indent right there. One thing that I've noticed about the EV6 is the window stays clear, despite on the EV6 it not having a wiper. This one has a wiper. I'll show it to you in a second. But because of this design, this on the EV6 is what gets dirty, not that. And obviously, any kind of sport utility kind of thing, the window can be an area that gets dirty. I'm wondering if this will help. We'll have to drive it some more. If you're looking for that wiper, it used to sit here, and that was a bad thing because it would collect snow and ice down there as it melted with your window defrosters that you can kind of see through there. And then it would just freeze, and for Canadians, that was a pain. Designers don't like it down there because it doesn't look nice. Canadians don't like it down there because it collects snow and ice. So instead of sitting here and collecting that snow and ice, they hide it up underneath here, which means it's gonna swipe down. You still get to clear it, but you don't have to worry about getting that blade stuck to the window. And you have the same idea exactly on this one over here. So we're gonna show you lighting right now as we move through. There's the new Sportage logo. X-Line Limited only has X-Line written here, and I assume the other X-Line will also have X-Line, so there's no badging that says Limited on the top line trim. 4X is the badging we see here on the LX all-wheel drive, so a little different badging there. What we're gonna do now is lighting. It's just a side view of both the vehicles. You can see a little differences here in the trim on the bottom here, sort of a silver piece down there, and a black piece on the X-Line. The X-Line is supposed to look tougher. I don't know if it does or not. A little bit up and down areas there where we go side to side right over here. Okay, let's take a look at the lighting. Turn both lighting on all the cars, and we're gonna go left side signal. So turn the key to the on position. It's the key there, of course. Headlights on and left side signal. And then we're gonna do the same thing over on the top trim line because there are some differences here that are notable. And again, we'll talk about differences little bit further on. So now you've got headlights and fog lights here, left side signal, and let's turn the vehicle to the on position there. Okay, headlights are on, fog lights are on, signal lights are on. Okay, first of all, LED lights on both of these cars. Now, let's take a look at overall design out front. You can see, let's just start with this one over here. It's probably a little easier to go this way. There is definitely a design difference there. If you look at the line, we'll get closer to it. But you can see what I'm talking about here. These are what's called MFR type reflectors, LED lights. They don't look as precise down there. And although if you've never had LED lights on your car, you're probably going to be overly impressed with these. They're very good. They appear to have a very sharp cutoff. The color that you see on the wall does not match what I see in person. A very white, bright light. But there is a difference here in these trims with how precise that headlight line comes on the higher trim line. So a little bit more precision to the light in these ones there. You can see it's really, really bright there. And of course down here, same idea, really, really bright down here. There we go. Now we've got the signal lights on both the cars. This is interesting because this LX model, you've still got that distinctive light here that's going to really identify the car. But you've got this entire area is signal. There is a little marker light down the side. If you look over here, your marker light is a much more advanced, larger marker light. But when your signal turns on, the rest of these light up. So there's your marker light. There's your signal light right here. And then, of course, you've got fog lights down low as well. So lots to talk about technology-wise. We've got some extra bits and pieces that I'll have to explain a little bit later. Overall, black chrome out front in the top trim. And sort of a black matte plastic look over on this trim there. So overall, very nice. I think both are quite good. Little differences down below the bumper here. If you take a look there, you can kind of see it there with a little bit of silver. And this one has a looping area all the way around kind of thing, all the way around there. Whereas this one doesn't have that same loop type look to it. It's just kind of got the side right there. So definitely some visual differences for nerds like me. That's what makes that vehicle visually interesting, and this one maybe a little bit more standard, but I think still very visually interesting for a base model. 17-inch wheels here, 65 series sidewall, 55 series sidewall on the X line there. So still a good amount of sidewall even on the 19-inch wheels compared to these 17s. There's also 18-inch depending on the trim. Now, for a base model, still fairly interesting lighting up here. You've got an LED kind of marker there, folds into the area there. Some cars just don't spend the time making it look interesting. Yellow signals that are up where you want them. You guys hated them down here. They heard you. They put them up where you guys want them in the light cluster there. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. You can see really no difference except you've got LED signal lights here. Now those are bright amber, but they're not, the camera's having trouble adjusting them. So I don't know if you can see it, but that is definitely a bright amber light. Overall styling as well, some differences in trim color around the windows here. You've got some black obviously over here. You've got some silver over in this area here. Let me just show you right here. So this over here is a more silver trim, still has some nice patterning. And over on this one here, you've got the black patterning. Again, there's your roof rail difference here. This one has a little bit more raised roof rail on the X line, just really a styling detail. Both are long, full length. And this all-wheel drive has this traditional, roof rack we've been using for a long time. Again, really long on both of them. So if you're carrying a larger ski box, a canoe, or a kayak up there, it's super simple to do. All right, guys, we have gone almost 40 minutes. I didn't hit 150 likes yet. Got a whole bunch of people on right now, but we're going for 150 likes. So that's, 14 more likes to get there. See if we can get there. If you're interested in these vehicles and I don't answer your question, I'm just going to go back through and read them. I haven't got time to go through every question, but I will go back through and read them, and we're going to do a whole bunch more videos on this. So hit the subscribe button. Tell us you like seeing Sportage videos, and that'll tell my bosses, hey, I got a lot of people that want to see more Sportage videos. So just tell us that you like it, and we'll go from there. And so just come on, get the likes. So do me a favor, guys, comment and telling me that you want to see more of these videos. That does help me, puts a little pressure on the bosses to make sure that we get these vehicles back instead of other vehicles as a priority. So we've got that. All right, let's go through and I'll see what I can do for answering some of your questions. We won't be able to go through all of them. Is there a turbo engine available? No. The hybrid model that has not officially been introduced, or if it has, it's been the past couple days and I haven't heard about it, that will have a turbo engine and a hybrid. But officially, no turbo engine. So again, you can move up to a Sorento and get into a turbo engine in that model. and that's a fast turbo. It's a 2.5 liter turbo. This is the 2.5 non-turbo. I think they've done their market research and seen where the previous Sportage, the sales numbers were, and there was not a ton of uptake on the SX. People liked the features but didn't need the engine, and I think this is where this sort of fits in. And again, you still have this, the Sorrento's not a whole lot larger, and it does give you a turbo engine in that model. So you've got, they're kind of re-segmenting the whole lineup, and instead of having one model do everything, they're now realizing, hey, we can have the Sportage occupy this space in our lineup, and we can have other options for people who need something a little smaller, something a little bit more powerful. You've got other options there. So good question, but at this point, no turbo. Somebody says, I need fog lights, heated seats, heated steering wheel, blind spot sensors and mirrors. The US version of the Rio, the highest trim level, doesn't have these options. I wish I could buy. You can just buy a Canadian version. Will the digital gauge cluster update to this theme in the Sportage like in the Sorrento? So the theme with like in the top line Sorrento SX, that theme with that, like that sunsetty type look, yes, it can have that as well. All right. Somebody says, why would anybody think that Kia Hyundai would stop supporting gas engines because they're going all EV? No, they're still going to support their gas engines. There's rumors that they may not develop any more new gasoline engines. And to be fair, there's rumors that our government is looking to get, the Canadian government is looking to get 50% of vehicles sold being EVs by 2030 and all of them by 2035. That's pretty close. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure by governments on car makers to make EVs and those kinds of things. That's where that's coming from as well. Does the X-Line Limited have the off-road tires like the US X Pro? Good question. In Canada, there is no X Pro model at all. So you cannot get these with those little bit more BF Goodrich, I think they were off-road tires that we saw in the LA Auto Show. Canada doesn't have that model. I would think if there was demand, they would probably consider it. The other thing that's interesting is American models are built in the States, Canadian models are built in Korea, which is something that not everybody expects. But that is a difference there as well. So just a little bit of difference there. Sportage versus your Status Cruise, what's my pick? Okay, so here's the thing. That's a good question. So those of you that don't know me, I drive a Kia Soul EV, and that is my Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is kind of a pickup truck-ish. It's got a bed. Here's the thing that's surprising. I don't recommend my Santa Cruz to most people. I think for most people, they're gonna prefer an SUV. I happen to love my Santa Cruz because I like to do some dirty hobbies and other stuff, and I like to have a pickup truck bed, but I don't need to drive a pickup truck. I just want to drive an SUV, drive something that's fun to drive, and the Santa Cruz is. And it's got the 2.5 turbo, which is available in the Sorrento if you want to go Kia lineup. So it's fun that way. But I think for most people, the answer to that question is which is better, Santa Cruz or Sportage? For most people, Sportage would be better. If you need a pickup bed, Kia doesn't offer that. And the reason that's a valid comparison is these are technically made on the same platform. These platforms are very adaptable. The Santa Cruz, the Tucson, and the Sportage are all sharing a platform. So it's they're very sister-like vehicles. I will say Sportage does well with the larger screens in here. I haven't taken them on long enough drive yet, but they seem to ride very well as well. And like I said, Santa Cruz is amazing for me, but it's probably not amazing for more people. So there we go. All right, we're gonna leave that there, guys. Do me a favor, if you're not watching live with us, obviously hit the like button, obviously hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see more, just let me know in the comment section. Hey, love to see more Sportage videos. Leave some positive comments, then my boss will see those, and then we'll get them back here for you. Monday, so this is Saturday right now. Monday, we're gonna do a technology review of this car. I wanna show you how these features work and how they benefit your life. I think sometimes when you read an owner's manual, you find out what they do, but then you still don't have any idea how it's gonna help you. So I wanted to give you some tips and hints if you're sharing these vehicles with other people, how to set things up, and also how to make sure that you've got what you want for you, they've got what they want for them, and they understand it, and it makes it easy to understand. So that's our goal for Monday. We'll see you again live at 2 o'clock then. Thanks everybody for watching. This is a good car. Can't wait to talk about it more. We'll talk to you soon.